in the third quarter and even up these NBA Finals at 1 game apiece. So the Celtics came here to get a split. They got that. The fans came here tonight to see their team keep their hopes alive in this championship series, and they got a chance to see that. With Stephen A. Smith and Michael Wilbon and Jalen Rose, I'm Mike Greenberg. And Jalen, I'll give you credit. As we were going off the air at halftime for our halftime show, you said the Warriors in the third quarter are the NBA's 31st team. Well, tonight they certainly demonstrated that.
And they consistently have done that over the last few years, and this is something, if you're the Boston Celtics, you got to pay attention to. But Steph Curry led the way. He shot confidence into his team. But the points off turnovers for the Golden State Warriors, that was the big difference. 33 big points off turnovers. When you're playing on the road in the NBA Finals, you just can't win like that.
Boston Celtics didn't come ready to play in the second half. They weren't the same team. They played like a team that said, we came and got what we came for in game 1. They didn't show up in the second half in game 2. They got blitzed like, 35-14 in the third quarter. Steph Curry goes ballistic. Jordan Poole shot 1 for 5 in the first half. It was a no-show, showed up in the second half and hit a couple of big-time three-pointers. But keep this in mind. Marcus Smart had 2 points for the game, 0 points in the second half. Al Horford, who led the Celtics with 26 points in game 1, had 0 points in the first half, 2 points for the game, okay? So when you take that into consideration, there is no question it was an anemic performance by the Boston Celtics. They were sloppy. They played with no urgency because they played like a team that said, we got what we came for, and the Warriors said, wake up. This is still a series to win.
They played like a team that got defended, Stephen A. They shot 37.5%. Listen to some of these numbers. Jason Tatum, who had 1 quarter, was 8 for 19. Al Horford, as you mentioned, 1 for 4. Jaylen Brown, 5 for 17. Marcus Smart, 1 for 6. Derek White, 4 for 13. They got defended. We asked the Golden State Warriors after the other night when they gave up a torrent of threes to play like a championship defense, and they did. So I'm not letting the Celtics off the hook with they didn't play well. They got defended. They got some of their own medicine. Golden State went back to the future and played the way we know a championship defense can play.
But this is what drives me crazy about you, Wilbon. I know you're right, but I don't believe you're being complete. I understand how elite Golden State's defense can be. But damn, 2 points?
Hey.
2? I mean, I'm just saying, there are elite defenses, okay, that put you on lockdown, and you can accidentally score 2 points in the second half of an NBA Final.
Stephen A., after the other night, when Golden State on their own floor got torched like they were in a YMCA game, all right? They had to respond with real defense. We all talked about how long and athletic and strong the Boston Celtics players were, and all that's true, by the way.
Yes.
They may respond, but look, the playoffs are about zig and zag. And Boston got away with everything they wanted to in game 1 and nothing in game 2. That's how playoff series go.
The most fearless member of the Golden State Warriors was actually Draymond Green. I guarantee you the Boston Celtics going to look back at the footage of this game and look at the number of players that he jumped up in their face and was wolfing. They're going to show that because that level of toughness and leadership, that carried against Al Horford. It carried against Robert Williams III. Let me just say this out loud. Time Lord is injured. And it's going to be interesting to see if Robert Williams III can actually finish this series. He was out there limping, and I applaud him for trying to play. And Grant Williams got to play through the officiating. But Draymond Green, normally when a guy has a technical, Stephen A., Wilbon, and Greeny, they're not doing this. They're not doing this. The reason why he's doing that, he understood a sense of urgency, and he knew his team needed that toughness.
That was late in the second quarter. Many people wondering, would he wind up getting thrown out of the game with a second technical there? We talked about selective officiating, and he stays in and they blow him out in the second half. But to the point you were making earlier, Stephen A., the Celtics acting like they got what they came for, which I understand. But this was a 2-point game at halftime. They were right there with a chance to essentially put a stranglehold on this series, and then they got their doors blown off.
Well, I specifically said that it was the second half.
Yeah.
I didn't say the game.
No.
They said the second half when Golden State made a run, the level of urgency that they had to get a game wasn't there in game 2 because they got game 1. And I'm looking at it, and again, I'm not taking anything away from what Wilbon says in terms of how tenacious Golden State's defense was. But again, by accident, you can score 2 points. Al Horford, 2 points. Marcus Smart, 2 points. Robert Williams, 2 points. Come on, y'all. That's 6 points from 3 starters.
I want to go back to the point that you made a moment ago as well, Jalen. When we saw the Celtics struggle, we were with them through the entire Eastern Conference Finals. They turned the ball over a lot. Tonight, the edge in points off turnovers was Warriors by 18. They win the game by 19. It's not a coincidence.
Points off turnovers, what does that do? It allows the Golden State Warriors to get out in transition, play against play with an open floor, get open shots in transition, and get layups. We are enamored by the Golden State Warriors three-point shooting because they have the Splash Brothers. But what they continue to do is always get layups. And this is why coming into this game, I was like, if the Celtics going to win game 2 on the road, it has to be their best players. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum first half had 36 points. Second half, they had 9 points. The role players got them that win in game 1. Stars would have got it done in game 2.
What I find amazing, and I'll throw this to you, Wilbon, what I find amazing is with Brown and Tatum, they can't seem to put back-to-back games together. One does it one game, the next guy does it the next game, etc., etc. They can't seem to put back-to-back elite games together for each other. That's going to be interesting.
Well, you know what, Stephen, that's a great observation. And when we start examining why, I mean, this sounds so harsh to say this when they're in the finals. Are they good enough for us to expect that? Are we expecting Magic and Big Game James? Are we going to expect that? Are we going to expect Michael and Scotty? We're going to expect Larry and Robert McHale and Chief and DJ? Is that fair?
How about the Jason Tatum that showed up in Game 6 at Milwaukee? Okay, is that? I mean, it's not like they haven't done it.
Remember, we're not asking if he can show up one game. We're asking if we can get
I'm just talking
back
about
to back. I don't know the answer to that yet. I think these series help you answer that.
I'll tell you what else the Celtics have not done. They've not lost back-to-back games in this postseason at all. So the expectation is for them to bounce back in a big way Wednesday night in Game 3. But that's not the concern of the fans here in San Francisco tonight. This party is just beginning as they get to see their Warriors blow out the Celtics with a 35-14 third quarter and even up these NBA Finals at 1 game apiece. We're back with more from Chase Center in just a moment. It's the NBA Finals on ABC.
Game 3, Lisa standing by with Steph Curry.
Thank you, Mark. Steph, what was different tonight?
We came up with the right defensive energy and approach. Obviously, they have a lot of scoring. We had to make it tough on them all night. Jason and Jalen got off to a decent start, but we made them take tough shots. And then offensively, we were a little bit more organized in what we were trying to do from the jump. So we said we needed to play with desperation. That's what we did. Good feeling to get back on track, and now we got to take it on the road.
They won game 1 in the 4th quarter. Tonight for you guys, it was the 3rd quarter. Just what started clicking for you guys in the 3rd?
Well, our 3rd was basically the same as game 1. We just got off to a better start defensively where we left an imprint on the game, and they felt us a little bit more than they did. So the other guys didn't get off as much. It's a tough task. You know, like I said, those 2 guys create a lot for them. But if you can contain the other guys and just try to make it difficult, that carries over to the rest of the game. And our 3rd quarter was great, and we got enough separation that the 4th quarter is a little bit easier tonight.
What impact did Draymond have on this game, just seemingly getting under their skin all night long?
Just being himself. Exactly, like finding different ways to impact the game on both ends of the floor. Like sometimes it shows up in the stat sheet across the board. Sometimes you just feel his energy and his focus and his passion, and that gives us a lot of life. So